Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. My name is Reverend Lisa Herklotz. I am co-minister here with Jim Ernstsen, and we are so delighted to welcome you here to Unity of Charlotte. We're welcoming those who are here with us in person and also to friends and family on Zoom. Welcome. We're glad you're joining with us this Sunday. Unity, we like to start off by reading our mission statement together. This is a statement of the purpose of why Unity is here in this world. So please join me as we read together. Unity of Charlotte is the place where we nurture a deep and mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles. Simply put, we are here to love, grow, and serve. Thank you. And now we just want to take a moment to see if anyone is visiting us for the first time or maybe even your second. We just want to welcome you. Welcome. Nice to have you here. You're here on a very auspicious Sunday. It's our potluck Sunday, so please stay afterwards and help us partake of the wonderful food. It's nice to have you here. Everybody, we can find out more about Unity of Charlotte in many different ways. You can see all the ways there, our website, our newsletter, our Facebook page. We have a YouTube channel with our recordings of our services. And we also now are on Instagram and Blue Sky, so please check us out. And if you're here locally, be sure to check the bulletin board because we always put things up that we don't have a chance to announce. Now, let's turn to prayer as we move into our service. I invite you to gently close your eyes now. Just take a moment to turn your focus and your attention inward and down to your heart center. Feel yourself settle in that heart center as a place of rest and peace and openness. As we join together in prayer, we claim the presence of Spirit, always present, always active, always working in our life. We remember that we are a holy expression of our source. And as an expression of that source, we are open to the wisdom and guidance that comes from a higher, broader place to guide us step by step through this human existence, this human experience. We are able to do this with light and love, knowing we are a part of a divine order, a divine presence, and a divine life. And as we look out on this world and the trials and tribulations that are everywhere, we bring this light and love to those situations, remembering there is nowhere that God is not present. And we are calling forth the light where it appears to be dark. We are calling forth healing where there appears to be pain. And we are calling forth peace where there appears to be conflict. Resting in the knowledge that God is, and we are an expression of that. In joy and gratitude for that truth, we claim, so it is. Amen. I'd like to continue to hold a space of silence as we have an opportunity now to speak aloud the name of a person or a situation that we would like to uplift in prayer. Please feel free to do that now. Gaza, world leaders, Unity of Charlotte. as each of these names have been spoken aloud or held silently in our hearts, we know and believe with a faith unfailing, Spirit is working now in and through each one to bring about the best and highest outcome. So it is. Please join with me as we say together Unity's prayer of oneness. There is one presence and one power in my life and universe, God the good, omnipotence. So that is so. I want you to know that we have a prayer team, and that prayer team is available to take prayer requests through our website. We have an online form you can go and fill out. We also have a prayer box right outside that you can fill a prayer request out and put it in that box. That is sent to our prayer team, where it is held in the utmost confidence, held in prayer, and then sent to Unity, Silent Unity, where it's held in prayer for another 30 days. So if you feel any need for being uplifted in prayer, or anyone you want to uplift in prayer, please utilize that service. Also, No Silent Unity is available 24/7. There's always a person there to pray with you at 816-969-2000. That number is also posted on our website and our bulletin board. Now I'd like to invite Chris up to read our daily word.
Good morning, Unity of Charlotte. Good morning. My name is Chris. Daily Word, truth. I speak the truth with clarity and compassion. Living in an increasingly polarized world, I am aware not everyone will share the perspective or see life the same way I do. As much as I want to live harmonious with the others, I also want to stand up for what I believe. What I know is true for me. I appreciate the others feel the same way about their beliefs. I speak my truth. I center myself in divinity while acknowledging the divinity of all others. I am honest and grounded, staying steady if someone does not agree with me. Likewise, I receive others' truths as I would want them to receive mine. The presence of God within me, I am a spiritual being living with integrity, speaking words of truth with spiritual power. These are the things that you shall do. Speak the truth to one another. Render in your gates judgment that are true and make for peace. Zechariah 8:16. Have a blessed day.
My name is Reverend Jim Ernstsen. Let's start that over again. And we're going to be exploring the idea of, well, let me take a step back. Throughout the year, it's been growing through fill in the blank. Each month we've changed that topic. So this month, as we're switching into August, growing through service. And then today I'm going to be speaking in I'm here to serve. Not necessarily fix. I'm here to serve. So we're going to explore that today. We're going to think about that. We're going to process that and see where we end up. I want you to notice the graphic here. I was searching for a graphic because I wanted a graphic, and everything that kept popping up for me on the internet was people holding each other's hand, guiding each other, walking hand in hand, or a group that was grabbing onto each other's hand. And that's not what I was looking for. So it was tricky to find this graphic because I wanted the idea of us walking side by side, but not necessarily pulling each other in a certain direction or moving each other somewhere where the other person didn't want to go. Does that make sense? I wanted us to walk beside each other in support and service of each other. So that's why we've got that graphic sitting there. This is about walking with. This is not about grabbing hold of somebody else. This is not pulling them in a certain direction. This is about being with each other. Simply being with each other. So this is, last week, Reverend Lisa talked about, along with Lawrence Tolliver, of the Spiritual Social Action Ministry. She went through the 5 basic principles so much better than I could repeat. So I'm going to give us anybody used to read Reader's Digest? Okay, we're of that age. We're of that age. Here's the Reader's Digest version. God is, I am, I think, I pray, and I do. Those are the 5 basic principles. And we can talk about those over and over again. What we're going to focus on today is the I do piece of it. That's the service piece of it that I want to explore and talk about here today. Unity author Ellen Davenport wrote a seminal book. She wrote the book, I don't know what year it was, a decade ago, of the 5 basic unity principles. If you haven't read it, if you haven't studied it on your own, please grab it. You can grab that on Amazon used, and it's easy to do. What she says about that 5th principle, knowing the truth is not enough. Pretty simple, right? Knowing it is not enough. We've got to do it. We've got to do it. We've got to live it. Those principles, those ideas that we talk about here on Sunday, that we read about in books, those are the things where we have to grab hold of and bring them into the world. That's what she's saying. It's just not enough. It's not enough about understanding or even believing or even knowing. She's saying it's about a personal spiritual practice. So this month, we're talking about growing, and more specifically, growing through service. It's about how we treat each other. It's about how we live with each other. It's about doing unto others. It's kind of a biblical way of thinking about it. It's about being of service. It's about being of service without telling somebody else what you think they should be doing. That's what we're talking about here today. So the big question we might ask ourselves is, how does service become a spiritual practice in our lives? How does service become a practice, a spiritual practice in our lives as well? It's about knowing. And sometimes we can get stuck in that knowing and just not doing and not bringing that into the world yet. So we can always say, we might know. It's that next step that we take into that service that we're talking about. So that knowing is not yet doing. So there's so many ways. I sat and I thought about the difference between how I studied when I was a kid and how the opportunity has changed over the years. When I was a kid, I had to go to the library to do research, right? I had to take a bus to get to the library to do research for anything that I was going to do. And who knows how to use a card catalog these days? I don't know. Is it even in the library? I have no idea. So it's changed over the years. There's that library, or I felt pretty lucky when my mom and dad bought a set of encyclopedias. Whoa, right? I could do stuff at home. I had a friend who spent the year and he studied everything L. I don't even know why he chose L. But you could walk up to him and ask him a question and he would know it. It was amazing. He picked one book out of the encyclopedia. So that's the difference today, because today we can go online, we can find a topic, we can listen to a TED Talk on YouTube, can't we? We can use artificial intelligence to ask a question. We can still read a book like we always have, but it can be a book on tape. We can be exercising and listening to that book. These are ways that it's changed. We can listen to sermons. We can listen to messages on a Sunday. These are still ways for us to learn, but it's changed over the years. Did you know that you could take a course from Harvard for free? You knew it. Have you taken one? Have you? What was the course? Public speaking. That's so awesome. You can take a limited number of courses for free, online, of course, and they will even give you a certificate for that. I think they charge a little bit to send you the certificate. But I just find that fascinating. So I went on there and I looked, is there anything that I want to take from Harvard? And I found religious literacy. It's the traditions and scriptures. Learn how to better understand the complex ways religions function in historic and contemporary context. Doesn't that sound academic? I think that's awesome, right? This is the way we learn in our society these days. We can go online and have a Harvard course. I just think that that's awesome. I think that that is just awesome. It is, well, the point is, I think that we learn and we study these spiritual concepts possibly over a lifetime in different ways. And most of us are kind of lifetime learners in a sense. We can do that, but until we put those spiritual truths into action, and what the author, Ellen Davenport, was talking about, is we're withholding that good, those concepts, those principles, we're withholding it from the world. Kind of egotistically, I would almost add as well. We're missing our purpose in life if we just hold on to it without sharing it. So yes, let's celebrate the learning. Yes, let's talk to other people. Let's take courses. Let's read a book. Let's listen to podcasts. There's another way that every day I listen to a different podcast. Those are ways of learning. But until I move out into the world and share that, I'm withholding that good from the world as well. Ralph Waldo Emerson, what he's talking about here is he's talking about our purpose in the world. And I'm going to say our purpose is a little bit different from this, but when I think of my purpose in this world, my purpose is to return back to the knowledge that I am one with God, that I am one in the universe, that I have made the error to separate, maybe, and a lot of us have throughout our lives. It's to return back. That's my purpose, is to return back, at least the knowledge of returning back to that oneness. Well, Ralph Waldo Emerson, he was asked the question, what is your purpose in life? And someone said, it must be to be happy, right? And he says, no, your purpose is not to be happy. That's pretty selfish in Ralph Waldo Emerson's idea and theology. The purpose of life is not to be happy. It's to be useful, to be honorable, and to be compassionate, to move out into the world with these things. Compassion. Compassionate. Be compassionate with others. Be compassionate. That's what he's talking about. To put a fine point to it, I'd also add, it's to serve one another with honor and compassion. Honor and compassion. And then what does that look like? What does that look like on our day-to-day moving through this world in which we live? Honor and compassion for those around us, as well as ourselves, I would even argue, as well. Love a little Ralph Waldo Emerson. Let's move into a New Testament story, a Christian scriptures story about parable of the Good Samaritan. This is in the Gospel of Luke. And to cut to the chase, it's about serving others with fairness and radical inclusion. So if someone was to ask me what that parable means, radical inclusion is part of that, of where we get with that. It's about a man traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho. He's beaten, robbed, left at the side of the road. Many people see him and pass him by and just leave him there without any help. All right? So we're familiar with that story and how it gets started like that. But a Samaritan, and who is a Samaritan in this story? The Samaritan is somebody, first of all, this is on the journey from Jerusalem to Jericho. This is within, well, Palestine at the time, but it's in that nation of Israel. It's that Jewish nation. And Samaritans were kind of the outsiders at the time. They were kind of, it's standoffish. It was, you guys aren't part of us. That's what we're looking at. And that's why Samaritan was used in this example as well. This Samaritan, considered an outsider, sees this man, and he actually stops. And it doesn't say in the story, but I got to think that he didn't question who the nationality of this person was. He didn't care if it was a Jewish or Samaritan or something else. If the man was, well, no, I'm not going to go there. He saw this man. He cared for his wounds. He took him to safety, and he financially provided for his housing and medical care until the guy was able to get up on his own. That's going the extra mile, right? That's not just stopping and making sure, hey, you okay? See you later, This was serving your fellow man, serving your fellow human in this case. Even as being an outsider yourself. That's what makes this story so important. It's about the principle of fairness and justice, radical service to others, I would say. Radical service to others. More than just the concept of love. Because what does Jesus say that the greatest commandment is? Love thy God, which, a little bit aside, I'm going to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole here. When we say love God, what does that mean? It's the whole of God, right? Not just a being that we're worshiping. We are all part of that God divinity ourselves. So loving God, I would argue, is loving everybody in this room, loving everybody in Charlotte, loving everybody in this world. That's the commandment, the greatest. And in the second one is your neighbor and yourself. Yes, absolutely. God, neighbor, and thyself. This is the concept of service that goes across social groups, goes across all those made-up divisions that we as humans give each other, and says, it doesn't matter. I don't have to check out what nationality you are before I love you, or I serve you, or I treat you well, or I stop to talk with you, or I walk a mile with you. Love your neighbor. We kind of already talked about that. Our neighbor is everybody. It's not asking. The Gospel of Luke, and this we've already just talked about this. When he was attacked by robbers, leaving him half dead, is what the Gospel of Luke says. So what is that evolution in service that we're looking at here? This is an inner transformation that we're talking about. This is about, historically, unity talks about how we change the world, how we live in the world, as starting where first? Starting here, which is, boy, I didn't know I was going to have so many questions. This is like a quiz, pop quiz, isn't it? Pop quiz day. What is inside of us? The kingdom of God, kingdom of heaven is inside of us. This is about that bringing whatever you want into the world, first bringing it into your own heart. So if it is peace, finding peace in your own heart, and then exploding that into the world, letting it go into the world, practicing, in our case here, practicing service to bring about peace, radical forgiveness, radical justice into this world. It's seeing the Christ in everyone. That's what we like to talk about in the unity movement, seeing the Christ in everyone. It's about serving even beyond our comfort zone. Because we do. Each one of us has a comfort zone where we're okay going so far, but then it starts to get a little uncomfortable, and then we kind of move back a little bit, right? We're always bumping up against that place where we feel uncomfortable. This is serving beyond our comfort zone. And maybe doing that, what is it, God's work, our hands, is our chance to do a service project with somebody outside this room, with another group. It's going to be the Lutherans that are meeting over there right now. It's coming together with them. Does that make you uncomfortable? Maybe a little. I don't know too many folks over there other than Pastor Keith. It allows us to push past that discomfort and into a chance, an interfaith chance in this case, of social action, of community engagement. That's our evolution. That's when we talk about finding peace, finding that first in our heart. That's what we're talking about in terms of unity's evolution of service. When I was thinking about this, when I was sitting down and creating this message this week, what came to my mind, and this shows you how crazy, how, the different rabbit holes I go down in the course of a week in terms of a thing. A song came to mind. Does anyone remember the song, One of Us? Joan Osborne. You remember that. Anybody else remember that? Yeah, we've got a couple folks. Do you remember what year it was written and sang? Joan Osborne. 1995, which of course always blows my mind because that's 30 years ago. And yet here it is popping back into my head on a Wednesday afternoon, right? What's the first line of that song? What if God was one of us? What if God was one of us? What if God was one of us? Does that sound familiar now? What's the next line? The next line is little heretics. What? Just a slob like one of us, right? Okay, I got to sing that in church. That tickles me, you know. We could probably pull it up on YouTube. Yes, we can. You know what? Save that for the end, and we'll pipe that into the end. What's interesting to me is that concept. What if God was one of us? And the next lyrics are just a stranger on the bus. What if God was just that stranger on a bus trying to make his way home? How would we respond to that? Would we treat that person seeing the Christ in them? What if they had disheveled clothes? What if they hadn't taken a shower in a week? Would we avoid them? Would we be able to push past and serve them? What if God was one of us? And here's the trick. God is one of us, right? There's the answer to the song. Joan Osborne, 30 years later, you and you turn to each other. Look at each other. There's God. That's the trick right there. That's the trick right there. If we want to be peace, if we want to bring peace, 1995, I don't know, I must be getting old because 95 didn't seem that long ago. Didn't seem that long ago. Our call to spiritual action in this idea is, again, walking but not fixing somebody else. This is not participating in the idea of a savior complex where we have a compulsion to fix somebody else. We're not going there. That's not what we're talking about. It's as if we know better for that other person. No, let's give up on that idea. But we can serve them by walking with them. Sometimes service comes with walking beside somebody who is struggling, seeing God in that other person, seeing the Christ in that other person, and instead saying, I'm here to listen whenever you're ready to talk. Not even forcing them to talk. I'm going to stay here with you until you're ready to talk, if ever at all. That's where we want to be. It might even be saying, and then just dropping it, I care about you. And just sitting with them. That's service without expectation. Service without expectation. In the book of Proverbs, so we've moved from New Testament, we've moved walking beside, listening to somebody, just being there with somebody and saying, I care about you. Proverbs chapter 11. I took, I got to say, this is a Google. I Googled it. I Googled something. It said, give me something of service in the Old Testament. This is what popped up. The issue was, it was so, it was chock full of gender that I couldn't hardly read it, right? The Old Testament. So I took a whole lot of license with this. This is not a quote. This is an interpretation. I rewrote parts of Proverbs 11 where it says, serve freely as the world grows richer. Serve freely. That's the point I want to make here. Serve freely. No expectations. No expectations. There's no quid pro quo here. Those who withhold their service to others only suffer in the end. And this isn't a threat. This is just knowing that service does us good too. If we withhold it, we're just doing ourselves a disservice. A person generous with their time and service will enrich the world. And that's what we want. We want to enrich the world with goodness. We serve the world to make it a better place. And by extension, the whole of divine creation. Serving that person on the bus, serving the Christ within, something that we don't recognize. That is serving the whole of divine creation, isn't it? Yeah, here's where you say, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. The one who gives, the one who serves, benefits by living in a universe filled with all that is good. It does benefit us, even if we don't expect anything in return. I want to live in a world that feels better, that feels more at peace, that feels like I want to live in a world where I think I could reach out to you who I haven't met yet and would help me. Just like the Bill Withers song, that I could lean on you. That's the world I want to live in. Because we all have struggles from time to time. That's where I want to be. I want to be in that place where I benefit by living in a universe filled with all that is good. We've got a couple of different... So it wouldn't make sense unless I mentioned... There's a public service announcement. Here's how you can serve within our tiny little community, right? We have different ways in which we can serve each other. Greeters. Who's the greeter today? We've got greeters. Who's the usher today? We've got ushers. There's room for more if you want to volunteer to be an usher or a greeter. There are daily word readers. Thank you, Chris. There are tech assistants. Who are the tech assistants today? We've got Yvonne. We've got Alan. We've got Fred working as tech assistants. I'm going to say that Fred is going to be our song lead later on. Those are we have hospitality team leads. If you want to explore that idea, you don't even have to sign up for it. Talk to Kathy as well. Those are ways that we have. You can serve on committees. We have ad hoc committees that show up from time to time. We have financial committees. We have marketing committees. We have ministry leads in the SM. And what we want, even if these committees, even if these ministries have leads currently, we want co-leads. We want people to serve together. First of all, that's a spiritual growth opportunity that moves people into leadership within our community. So there's no place that you can't serve, is kind of what I'm saying. Service is there, the opportunity. We have a youth and family ministry that is begging for a leader, if that speaks to you as well. What have I forgotten? We have a prayer team, prayer ministry. Well, hang on to that. We have a prayer team. We would love to have prayer chaplains, which we don't yet. What'd you say, Nancy? We have a spiritual social action ministry currently. The Shawl ministry is brand new. What else can we volunteer for? Jim is our attendance taker. It's kind of a unique position. You'll see him stand up and he'll do one of these. And you do it well. You do it well, Jim. Let's give all of those volunteers a hand. Absolutely. All of those. Repeat with me this affirmation. So out loud. I serve others in order to make the world a better place. Absolutely. Whoops, I went too far. Absolutely. So in conclusion, as we kind of loop around on this, we had our 5 basic unity principles. God is, I am, I think, I pray, I do. I do. One more time. I do in this world. Service is love in motion, truth embodied, and faith activated. You're going to have to go back and watch the YouTube to hear that again. But ask yourself the question, where am I going to serve today? Where am I going to serve this week? Where am I going to serve this month? That's such a personal question. Such a personal question. I serve others in order to make this world a better place. Know that I love you, I bless you, I appreciate each and every one of you. I see the Christ, I see the divine in each and every one of you. That is known as the unity blessing, if you don't already know. I bless you. Namaste. Let's move into meditation. So, I invite you to wiggle around, to move around, stretch if it makes sense. Find a spot for your hands in your lap, folded, whatever makes sense. If it's comfortable for you to close your eyes, because this is the time where we move within. I always like to begin this meditation time, my personal meditation time, utilizes insight meditation techniques, which I focus on my breath. I invite you to do the same. Notice your inhale. Notice your exhale. And that place in your body where that happens. This is your anchor. This is your focal point. We use our breath because it's always with us. You can count your breaths if that makes sense. You can simply label the breath as in and out and in, just over and over again. Noticing that with each exhale, you release and relax a little bit more. Using the first person, I invite you to use these words that you hear me saying as your own. When I say that I am the creation of a living God, a loving God. This spiritual quality of love is a natural piece of my life. I am here to love. I am here to serve. In fact, my consciousness becomes one with the anticipation of that idea, that anticipation, that expectation of service. To where I wake up looking forward to serving others throughout my day. I know that no matter how challenging my day might get, how crazy things might feel, the simple act of turning in, finding my breath, and maybe even just repeating the words love can recenter me and can make all the difference in my day. I take another breath and I release. Going a little deeper. So we spend the next few minutes in silence. awareness back into the room. Maybe taking a deep breath and letting it out. Opening your eyes whenever that feels right. And then just bringing this blessing of this quiet time into the rest of our day. As we say namaste.
So I invite you to take whatever it is. If you give online, imagine that gift in your hand. If it's something you have now, hold it in your hand as we say together the offertory blessing. Joyously I give this gift, knowing the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. We are light, love, power, and presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.